I have had to cut my meeting so that I can actually address this judgment. Jeremiah Nyegenye, the clerk of the Senate, took me to court on defamation claims.
Declares former Kenyan Senator Gloria Orwoba in a bold YouTube video, responding to a stunning 10.5 million shillings defamation fine handed down by Nairobi's Milimani Court on July 14th. The court ruled that Orwoba defamed Senate Clerk Jeremiah Nyegenye through social media post accusing him of sexual harassment. Unfazed, Orwoba stands her ground, vowing to appeal and exposing what she calls a deeper culture of misconduct in Kenya's parliament.
Every single person that has worked in parliament or has had an interaction in parliament will tell you there is sexual harassment in parliament. They will tell you they don't speak about it because this is what happens to you when you speak about it.
Orwoba's allegations are serious. She claims Nyegenye made unwanted sexual advances and her refusal led to retaliation.
I think because I said I'm not going to sleep with this guy and I don't want to participate in his sexual advances, that is why I am being removed from certain trips, I'm being removed from certain legislative agenda, my bills are being put at the back. That is why I'm being targeted with unlawful and all sorts of crazy things and shenanigans, such as 6 months suspension. That is why also, as you can see, they forced me to put in an apology, which Jeremiah Nyegenye, through that committee that prepared, added his name. And remember when I was telling you people that this guy is going to use this thing in court, he went and used it in court as a submission.
She says, linking her 6-month parliamentary suspension to her defiance, she insists,
now, my claims are still on the table.
Noting that no independent investigation has cleared Nyegenye, in her view, the Senate has systemically ignored her complaints from letters to the Parliamentary Service Commission and Speaker Moses Wetangula to messages in an official Senate WhatsApp group.
I've written an official letter to Parliamentary Service Commission, to the Chair of Parliamentary Service Commission, Mr. Wetangula, the Speaker of the National Assembly. They ignored my letter. I have complained within the powers that be in Senate, including to the Speaker. They have ignored all my complaints. I complained in the official WhatsApp group that, listen here.
The defamation case centers on a video Orwoba posted while in New York, responding to parliamentary discussions she says Nyegenye orchestrated in her absence.
The matter was brought to Parliament through him, because he's the one that pushed behind the scenes that it was brought to Parliament when I was absent. They discussed it in my absence. I responded when I was in New York through a video. He took the video, and that is the video that he took to say that he was defamed.
She explains, arguing that her statements were a reaction to being targeted. Orwoba claims Nyegenye used the previous forced apology demanded by a parliamentary committee and mentioning his name as evidence in court, a move she has warned will happen. Orwoba's response is defiance. Quote, I am a believer in the judicial system, she says, acknowledging legal loopholes but announcing her intent to appeal the ruling.
Now, I am a believer of the judicial system, and I do believe that as much as there are many legal loopholes that criminals, rapists, murderers are using to win cases, I do believe in the judicial system. That is why I have placed an appeal. I am going to appeal this judgment that has come out. I've had people saying, oh, 10 million, oh, when it rains, it pours, I don't know what. The machinery that is even being used to push this narrative is the UDA machinery that is actually supporting people like Jeremiah Nyegenye to continue with these things that they are doing in Parliament.
The court ordered her to pay 8 million shillings in general damages, 2.5 million shillings in exemplary and aggravated damages, and 1 million shillings more if she fails to issue a public apology within 30 days on social media and in a national newspaper. A permanent injunction also bars her from further defamatory statements. Yet, Orwoba refuses to back down, rejecting the narrative she claims is pushed by Nyegenye and the UDA party's machinery.
I know that he used a legal loophole and now he's pushing UDA party machinery and minions left, right and center to push a narrative. But Jeremiah Nyegenye, there's no single investigation that has cleared you of sexual harassment. And that is the fact. And the Senate has not carried out any investigation. Do not lie to
A core part of her fight is a demand for transparency. Orwoba calls for the Senate to release public travel reports, asserting they will reveal frequent trips by Nyegenye and other leaders, implying favoritism and possible worse.
The only thing you have to do, even beyond investigations, as the public, why is the Senate refusing to put public the travel reports? Let Kenyans see who has been traveling, how much they have been using in the travel, how frequent they travel, who they travel with, and what that means to the taxpayers. Because the moment they put out the travel report, you will see Jeremiah Nyegenye in a plane every day with someone and someone and someone. And those are people who are playing ball. You will see the leadership of the house in a plane to wherever constantly with certain people. You will see even the speaker of the house constantly in some travel with certain people. So that's the basic thing. So I know there's a price to be paid, but let me tell you something. I believe that God put me in parliament for a reason. And evil will never win. So I am appealing. That is my position. I'm appealing in what has happened.
She argues these reports will expose how billions of Kenya shillings are spent, potentially in exchange for favors. Orwoba frames a battle as part of a larger struggle against the culture of sexual harassment in parliament. She references incidents like Sabina Chege being asked to turn around to show her body, highlighting a systemic issue.
And I mean, we are living in the times where we have seen even politicians being put on platforms and being told to turn around so that we can see your behind. This is a culture that somebody has to say no to. And I know that there's a price to pay to say no to that. And I'm willing and ready and capable to pay the price, because I was raised as a person who does not exchange sexual favors for whatever. That is not how my father raised me. And anyone who has been in my space knows, in fact, wanasema unajiringa, unajifanya, but that is not who I am. And there are many girls and many women who are finding themselves in compromising situations. You saw how Sabina Chege, actually a woman of her stature and her age, just succumbed to turning around to show her behind, because that is how the powers that be force it.
As she prepares to appeal, Orwoba challenges the lack of investigation into her claims. Quote, "No one has investigated," she insists, calling out the Senate for failing to address her allegations or clear Nyegenye.
So I want to say this to Jeremiah Nyegenye and to the public that cares to listen. No one has investigated. No one has investigated. Ever since I put up and said, listen guys, this guy is punishing me for saying no, not one single independent body or person has investigated and found that indeed Jeremiah Nyegenye is innocent.
Her fight is not just personal, but a call for accountability, urging Kenyans to demand transparency and question how public funds are used. What is next for Orwoba? Her appeal could escalate this legal and political drama, potentially shaking up Kenya's parliamentary system. Will her demand for travel reports expose hidden truths, or will the courts uphold the fine? This unfolding story is one to watch as Orwoba takes on powerful forces in her quest for justice. Newsroom, Maisha TV, reader Kering Chebet.